Today is the last day of my 2-week quarantine and I cannot wait to get out of here. But before that, I just want to give you guys an update on what I've been up to in the last 2 weeks. So Jet has an online orientation program this year to replace the in-person one that they couldn't have. Basically a bunch of videos and workshops you have to do. It gets kind of boring after a while. I've also been trying to brush up on my Japanese because very soon I'm going to be thrown out there completely on my own. Of course, they first need to make sure that I don't have COVID, so they've been monitoring our temperature every day, and we had to do 2 saliva-based PCR tests. They actually gave us the results of our test today. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be negative because if I did have COVID, I'm sure they would have isolated me by now. I don't know what this says, but I'm pretty sure I've tested negative, so I should be free to leave tomorrow. And lastly, I've been looking for a place to live here in Tokyo. So if your place in Tokyo, Jet or the school doesn't provide you with any kind of support with finding a place to live, they have booked the hotel for me for another 2 weeks after my quarantine to give me a bit of time to find my own place. Now, if you're outside of Tokyo, usually the school will help you find a place, or they might already own an apartment where you can live in there for very cheap. I've heard of some people basically living rent-free. Meanwhile, the rent here in Tokyo is probably going to be the most expensive in the entire country. That being said, I'm very happy with my placement and I'm very grateful that I pretty much got exactly what I requested. I asked for Tokyo and high school because I don't really like little children, and that's pretty much exactly what I got. Tokyo is expensive, but I think of that extra cost as a guarantee that you'll never get bored because it's Tokyo. With the JET program, a lot of times it's completely random. I've met people who requested Okinawa and they got placed in Hokkaido, and I've met a girl who asked for a rural placement and she's in the middle of Tokyo. So you could literally be sent anywhere in Japan, like a random island or village in the middle of nowhere. And I have met people here who are going to those kind of places. I'm sure they'll have a great experience and they'll definitely save a lot of money, but you might not have anything to spend that money on. As a bonus, I'm also at a private high school. So if you're in a public system, usually you'll have multiple schools assigned to you and you have to travel between them. Whereas in a private school, you just always be at that one private school. This means I'll get to know my students a lot better and I won't have to travel around. One dude that I met that's going to Hokkaido literally has 17 schools assigned to him. Plus many public schools require you to come in during school holidays and basically do nothing and sit at your desk. Whereas I can go off and travel, which is something I will definitely be doing. Now before I start packing for tomorrow, I'm just going to go outside for a walk and show you guys around the hotel. Behind the hotel is a huge empty car park. And that's kind of become our exercise field over the last 2 weeks. So a lot of people come here to take a walk or run laps around the car park. Whoa, look at the size of this spider. It is massive. Look how long its legs are. I had no idea Japan has such big spiders. I thought only we had them in Australia. As this will be my last vlog about my quarantine experience, I wanted to go through some of the questions people have raised. Can you choose what type of food you get? Not unless you're vegetarian or have any kind of allergies. If you don't like the food, you can always go down to the company and get your own food, but we were not allowed to go to the restaurants. Can you have food delivered to the hotel? Nope, somebody tried this and we were told that was not allowed. Can you have online shopping delivered to the hotel? For some reason, this was okay. People order stuff off Amazon and had them delivered to the front desk. How does laundry work? The hotel has a couple of coin-operated washing machines and dryers, which cost between 300 and 600 yen. You can also buy detergent from the company and wash them yourself in the bathtub. Can you withdraw money at the hotel? Yes, the Lawson has an ATM that accepts foreign cards, but there's only one, so it can run out of cash with everybody using it. You can also withdraw at the airport when you arrive. Can you send your luggage to your placement in advance? Yes, there will be a service at the hotel to send your big luggages away to your placement before you finish quarantine. This is useful if you need to take a domestic flight or Shinkansen to your placement and the baggage allowance is less than the allowance for your international flight into Japan. The cost is around 3,000 yen depending on where you're going. Does the hotel have Wi-Fi? Yes, and it is fast enough to stream YouTube and Netflix, but the connection quality can be mixed. My room was perfectly fine the whole time, but some people complained of crappy connections. Can we set up our SIM card in advance? There are 2 companies, Sakura Mobile and Mobile, where you can organize your SIM card in advance and have them ready in the hotel a couple days after you arrive. However, based on my research, their plans are far from the best deals out there. So unless your placement is super rural and you only get signal with these networks, I suggest you look for a better deal. How strict is the hotel quarantine? I wouldn't say it's really strict at all, especially compared to what I've heard of other countries. We're not allowed to visit anyone else's rooms, but we get 1 hour a day of socializing under supervision in a room. But outside of this, people still hang out in groups and nobody seems to care. The hotel staff have told people off a few times when the groups get too large or too noisy. But at the same time, I've also heard of people who stayed up really late to play cards or get drunk and nothing really happened. The hotel entrances and exits are not guarded, so if somebody left for the day, I don't think they would even know. Obviously, I'm not suggesting you do this because that will be incredibly stupid. And unfortunately, that is all I have time for today. But if you have any more questions, feel free to send me a message or just leave a comment down below. And with that, I have officially left the hotel grounds and therefore completed my 14-day hotel quarantine, which means I can go wherever I want in Japan now. And the first thing I'm going to do is go get some food because they're not giving us breakfast this morning and I'm super hungry. For breakfast, I've come to a 24-hour Sukiya right next to the hotel. I've been looking at this for 2 weeks and just waiting for the day that I can come here and eat my first real Japanese food. So this place specializes in beef bowls. You can see over there, they're one of the 3 main chains for beef bowls along with Yoshinoya and Matsuya. So you can see by the size of the menu here that they've definitely branched out from just doing beef bowls. You can see up there they got curries as well, and here they even got eel. That's pretty cool. But I think I'm just gonna stick to the original beef bowls. So you got different varieties here. I might actually try either the kimchi one or this one here with the spring onion and eggs. They give you a lot of spring onions. You almost can't see the beef underneath here, but you know, it's definitely there. And they give you an egg which you can crack and then use this thing and put it over. I don't know what's called. First meal in Japan. Absolutely cannot wait. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. That is so good. The rice is nice and hot. Beef is thin and tender, and all this spring onions really adds to the flavor. After 2 weeks of just microwaving food, I've really forgotten just how much better, you know, real food straight from the kitchen tastes like. This is a sign of great things to come.